Okay, my name is Bill Wilby, Strida, Canada West. 2 years ago I bought my first Strida bicycle, and I can still remember the excitement of opening that box for the first time. And this video is intended to show you what to expect and give you some ideas in terms of putting the bicycle together and try and make it a little bit easier, especially when you're as excited as I was 2 years ago. So, of course, first thing, you need to cut the tape. Don't cut yourself. If you're really excited, I'm going to open this up. I still get the same excitement when I open a new bike which I haven't seen the color before. And I actually have not seen what the orange SX looks like. This is pretty exciting. Now, one thing you're going to notice when you open the box for the first time is that the bicycle is really well packed. There's very little chance of any internal damage. This comes out of the top, and you can pretty much lift the bike out of the box as it is, which is what I'm going to do. So we're just going to hold this up here, and I'm going to move the box a little bit out of the way, so I can start to remove some of the other packing. I am going to need a pair of scissors to cut the ties. So this comes off the top. I'm just going to protect the top. This was in there to provide stability to the side of the box. In this case, there's just one tie that's tying that pedal from moving, so you may find two, one around the handlebars as well. In this case, there isn't. Cut that. Pull that out of the way. Now, when I did this for the first time, I got to this step and I thought, now what do I do? I really did not know how to unfold the bicycle because I hadn't seen a good video of how to do that. If you've watched my video on how to unfolding it for the first time is pretty much the same. So I'm going to start with the left pedal. I'm going to move this out from the frame protector a little bit tighter. Drop it down carefully. In this case, I haven't done the handlebars, so I'm going to reach down and just pry those wheels apart. Move this over here, clip it into place, put down the kickstand. All of Strida Canada West bikes come included with the kickstands, which is really handy at this stage because it allows you to set the bike down. Remove protective packing from the bar. Remove the protective packing here. I think I will put the handlebars in place just because. Unfold the other pedal. Inspect the bike. Everything looks really quite good, as I would expect it to be. And what we're missing, of course, is the seat mount and the seat and the rack. So now we're going to get them out of it, and of course the seat. So now we have the seat. You'll find in its own plastic bag the quick release seat mount, which allows you to adjust the seat up and down, and another box which is going to contain the tools we're going to need, plus the bolts. So I'm just going to move this box out of the way and grab my X-Acto knife. Open up the box, find the goodies. box, we're going to have the rack. With the rack is the little clip that holds the rack in place at the bottom to the frame. We'll put this aside because this will go on almost last. Mud flap. CD with instruction manual. Put that aside. Bag that's going to be sealed with the tools we need plus the bolts. Move this cardboard out of the way here. So, just open up the plastic bag, dump out the parts, make sure you're on a good surface to be able to do this. This might look confusing, but it's to put the tag, this little snap tie is designed to put the warning tag on the bike if the bike's going to be displayed in a store. So not something that you're going to need if you're opening this bike for yourself. In here we have the quick release seat mount, which comes standard on the SX model, which this is, and the EVO, the 3-speed model. So this is what we're going to mount first, but one of the most important things to consider is where we're going to want to mount this. On the Strida bicycle, we're going to find this already on it, and by depressing this in, you can remove the red release snap that is the adjustment snap for the quick release mount. It comes on the bike. Now this isn't fastened, it's just held on by tension, so we want to be able to pull that off, and you'll discover this little pin. And this pin is what centers the seat mount from moving side to side, and it fits into little notches inside the seat mount. I'll show more of that later when we take this apart. What's really important is deciding at this point whether this pin is in this position is best for you, or if it's in the higher position. For me, I have a 32-inch inseam. I like to pedal with my toes. I like the seat up really high. I need to use the higher position. For people less tall, not as tall, this lower position would be fine. That's a decision you need to make right away. To adjust this pin, the Allen key that comes with it will fit in here and allow you to remove it. It's a matter of unscrewing it and moving it up to the top if you need be. This is something that you do need to be very careful of because the threads are very fine and there can be paint in those threads. So just go easy when you're putting it in and watch that the pin is coming out straight and through the hole on the other side. Because you want it to be lined up. That sounded good. And I'm just gently threading this in. This one's going in quite easy. If you found any resistance, what you would want to do is to back it off and then just keep working it in, just to work the paint out of the threads. I'm going to take this back out again though and put it in the lower position because this is where I need this bike to be set. And of course it's going to go in there easy. We're going to tighten it snugly. Going to move the frame protector just up a little bit. Now we're going to go down back to the floor and assemble the seat mount. The seat mount has these quick releases, but we need to spread this apart to be able to put it on. So I'm undoing these two knobs. And opening up the quick release. It's okay if it falls apart. And there's one small screw here which also needs to be removed. With your Strida you of course get this multi-tool Allen key, and one of the Allen keys will fit that, so we're going to loosen that, otherwise it's not going to come apart for you. You do need to be careful because there's a very small washer underneath that screw, and if you take the screw all the way out, it's possible for that washer to fall on the ground and take half an hour to find. At least it took me half an hour the first time. Now, two pieces are going to fit together on the frame, like so. We're going to put the screw back in here, including the little washer. I'm going to reassemble the quick release with the lever on the left-hand side. First time I did this, I put the lever on the right-hand side. It doesn't fit quite right. It may take you a while to discover that. I just had that snug. Reach down, find the other piece. Put that back in. Now, this is what allows the seat mount to be moved up and down on the frame. And to put this in, you'll notice there's a bottom with a couple little holes in the bottom, and there's a little groove that the pin will fit into. I'm going to start again. So, because I should have put this piece back in first. So, just give me a second.
Okay.
Take this apart. And I'm doing this so that it will be easier for you to learn from my mistakes. Let's put this back where it won't. And this is one place that you may end up scratching your Strida slightly, putting this off and on and adjusting it. It is going to be hid. You're not going to be able to see it. Once we put the seat mount on, this piece is going to slide over top where it came and allow it to adjust. But we'll have to take it off for now. Put seat mount on. Bottom quick release, like so. Of course, this nut just goes on the other side to fasten it. when you've got the seat in the right position, you want these to be very tight because you will find some lateral movement in the seat if they're not tight. The little screw that's in here isn't going to keep it from slipping sideways. Now, back to this step, which is mounting this piece, and it's going to slips in on top. It's going to slide in and out. One other little piece that you may puzzle over, it's a little plastic retainer, and it fits in position to hold this in place so it can't bounce off or can't disappear. And it can be a little bit tricky to put into place. Basically it goes, you'll notice there's two little grooves near the edge and they fit into two little round pieces underneath. And then this lip here is what snaps over this lip.
Let me see that. Okay.
So this little lip,
yep.
It snaps over this lip to keep it in place. If you need to remove this at some point, I find a very small screwdriver just to pry that off to release it. Has worked for me. So I've got one side on, but not the other side on. So if you pull this out, it makes it easier. I just discovered. I've had easier. Have this go on easier. Snaps into place. Now that wasn't difficult. Just took a long time. Okay. The next step is to mount the saddle. Standard rail fits into here. We're going to have one bolt, one nut, and I'm going to put the saddle on now. You can pinch yourself when you're doing this, so I find that it's worth being careful. I just spread those rails with my hand and slip the saddle over the plastic. There's a little more purchase here, but do this, it snaps into place. Remembering that the saddle is adjustable, not just up and down for your height, but you can move it back forward as well, depending on what you find comfortable. So I'm going to bring this one back just a little bit, and this piece, of course, is what locks the rail in place. You'll notice that there's a hole through the bottom of the seat mount under the seat. So it will fit on like so. And I'll just turn this around so you can see the other side. And of course the nut. What I don't have handy with me right now is I usually have a 12 or maybe it's 13 millimeter socket and a crescent wrench that I use to tighten this up with. So that's something that we will, and those are the only tools that you'll need that aren't included in the box. Make it hand tight for now. And the last step, of course, is putting on the rack. So the rack is secured with a bolt. Actually, it's not quite the last step. And a nut. And you'll notice a little hole in the bottom of the seat bracket, and just checking that I've got that on there correctly. The rack will slip in the bottom like so. The bolt will go in. This might take a little bit of pushing and effort. The metal rack and the plastic, it should line up. This one is lining up, but there are times when you might find you need to just push and shove a little bit to get that to line up. Just turning that in. I can't turn this all the way around, so that's going to slow it down just a little bit. If you had an Allen key, you might find that would work a little faster. Of course, the nut and the plastic cover for the nut go on the other side. I'll just turn this around so it's a little more visible. That fits in here. Tight. Fits down into position. Little plastic nut just goes over top of that just to make it look nice. Now, before we check the bike, there's one more thing to do, and that is, of course, is to install the rear mud flap, which has been included. You'll notice in the rear mud flap there's a little hole here, and if you feel under the fender, there's a matching little hole that's going to fit into that. So we're going to just slip the mud flap over the fender, push it on until we can feel the protrusion sticking through the hole that's going to lock that in place. Not going to go anywhere. When I put together a new Strida bicycle for the first time, I like to check that the brakes are not dragging, and we will need to put some air in the tires, 85 pounds pressure in these ones. So I'm going to release the handle brakes, parking brakes, lift the bike up, just spin the wheel, listen. That sounds good, I can't hear it dragging. Wheel is nice and straight. We'll do the same to the front. Yep, the brakes have been adjusted. One more thing to consider, this handy little tool that comes with Strida bicycles has a place to take it with you at all times, and it's in the back of the seat mount. There's a little hole right there that can insert into, pushes into place. If you ever need to adjust something, it's going to be close at hand. And that's the installation of the seat mount, the rack, the seat, the saddle. We will, of course, need to find a wrench and tighten up that seat. And we're set for our first ride. I hope that's been helpful. Thank you.